Hello and welcome to Wormhole Pinball Presents and part 3 of our podcast series we call Arcades Across America. I'm your host, Jamie Birchall of the Wormhole. Let me start off by welcoming back to the podcast my co-host, Coe from Quarter Drop Arcade, all the way from Cottage Grove, Oregon. How are you, Coe?
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Jamie. I'm really excited about tonight's guest. We got some great people on the panel
Oh,
tonight.
we do. And I'm actually not in the Wormhole today, guys, so I'm sorry about that. We are in disarray with the Houston Arcade Expo coming up, and we're bringing 5 games, which we'll talk about later. And so let me also introduce, all the way from San Francisco, California, Matthew Henri from FreeGoldWatch. Welcome to the Wormhole, virtually,
Hey,
Matt.
hey, thanks a lot for having me, boys. It's great to be here. I haven't done Zoom since the total lockdown stuff, so I had to re-get myself acquainted with the program. My wife had to help me out and got it on my new computer and everything. So here I am. Let's go.
There we go. And all the way from Girard, Ohio, outside of Youngstown, Guinness record holder for longest running pinball show, owner of Pastimes Arcade, the one and only Rob Berk. Welcome to the Wormhole, Rob.
Hey guys, I traveled a long way to be on the air here, man. You guys are on the West Coast. I'm here in the East Coast.
Oh, I know.
Amazing.
I'm sorry. We'll do an hour, I promise. No worries.
This is crazy coincidence because Rob Berk. Okay, I'm just learning about your arcade today from my friend Justin. Justin from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So he's here now, right now in my arcade, hanging out. And he has.
I've been to your place. That you own that place in Frisco? You own it?
Yeah. This is my spot, and Justin's here now, and he actually has a Pastimes T-shirt on today.
Amazing.
He was showing me pictures of your collection. This is all just. It's such a cool coincidence. This is great. This is all meant to be.
Well, what's crazy is I've been to your place and I bought a machine off you guys.
Which one did you buy?
It was back in the show in the storage area. It was a turbo, upright turbo.
Position? What did you get?
Turbo.
Turbo.
It was one of the upright video games. Turbo.
That's a good one. Sega Turbo.
Or was it a pole position?
Or maybe pole position. Yeah.
You know what? That's so crazy. I was just thinking about that pole position not even a week ago, because that was a really nice one too. That thing was almost that pole position actually came from somebody that worked at Atari. So that was a home use only pole position from
I got it.
Employee.
Wow.
Right.
Good score, Rob.
And damn, Rob, this is all coming way full circle. This is all right.
Crazy?
I'm really glad to be here. This is working out.
Yeah.
This is already off to a great start.
Love it.
Wow.
Well, I love it. Look what we're doing. We're bringing people together in arcades across America. That's fantastic.
That's what it's all about.
Since there's a bunch of us here today, our goal is to not only talk about your establishments, right, but what we're doing in Houston. We're growing to about a 14,000 square foot building. And then Coe is building the Quarter Drop. And so we're kind of using your free consulting services for you guys, if you will. Not only are we going to talk about your establishments, but we're going to pick your brain. And so we appreciate the help, although be it free. We appreciate it.
All right, so hold on. Let me set my timer like my attorney does. Okay, go.
That's a good idea. All right. Well,
It's going to be expensive.
It is going to be expensive. Let's start with Matt from FreeGoldWatch. If you're, how are you both a printing press and a arcade?
Okay, I'll I'll try to give you the everybody here the quick short version of it. But okay, so I've always been into screen printing. That's been I started working at a young age at a screen printing shop. I liked it so much that when the asshole boss fired me, I just said, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own, and it was the best firing that it could have happened. So I got right into screen printing and always been into t-shirts and art and just design and just the process of it too. I really just enjoy the process. And the biz side of it too. It's all great. Anyway, so it's because it's so random, the people you end up printing for, right? So I love that. Now, having said that, to where the pinball all comes in, we used to, and I'll try to make this quick here, but we used to do these trade shows in Las Vegas because FreeGoldWatch was a brand of clothing. So I would design and make all these, different designs and stuff and sell them in stores and, all over the place. New York, LA, even Japan, Europe, everywhere. We would have our stuff in these stores. So we would do these trade shows. And one of them happened to be in Las Vegas, right? And we're at the illustrious. I mean, if you've ever been there, the Hooters Hotel and Casino, one of the greatest. I mean, it just happened to be by the center, you know, whatever the big convention center that we were, you know, at. So we stayed at the Hooters. It was cheap, and so
Right.
yeah. So
cheap.
it does have to do with pinball. Believe me. Okay, so I'm at the. Oh, look at that dog.
Look at that guy.
So, okay, I'm at a 3-card poker table, okay? And this is probably like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 at night. It's late. And I've never really played 3-card poker, but I'm there and I'm playing it. I keep winning, right? And I'm like, shit, every time I get a $100 chip, I just shove it in my pocket, shove it until my pocket is like, just like, I can't even fit any more $100 chips in this pocket. So I'm like, you know what? It's about that time to leave, right? So I get up, I walk away, thank the dealer, tip him out, and I leave. That next morning, I get in the actual phone book, right? And I look up this camera shop, right? And I look up this camera shop because I'm looking for a very specific camera. It's a Leica R6. It's a whole thing. Anyway, I call this used camera shop up, and I say, you know what? Instead of taking this money home and spending it on some bullshit, I'm going to see if they got this camera, and I'm going to go buy that, right? And I couldn't believe it, but they actually had this camera, right? This Leica R6. So I said, I'm coming down this afternoon, and this is like in 2010, right? So I told the guys at the store, I said, I'm coming down, hold the camera for me. And they said, no problem, right? So I was like, okay. Told my buddy at the show there, and I said, hey, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go get this camera. I'll be right back. Take a cab down there, buy the camera, the whole bit. And then as soon as I walk out of the camera shop, there's this place called the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what is the Pinball Hall of Fame? I had never heard of it. I had no idea of anything about it. So I said, that's all right, that's pretty damn cool. So I went back to the show and I told my buddy, all right, instead of going to like whatever parties the brands are throwing tonight, I said, let's just get some beers or whatever, hang out and go to this place called the Pinball Hall of Fame. So we went there, and it was like we spent, I mean, as soon as we walked in, we didn't leave. And this wasn't at their new location. This is 2010, so this is their previous spot. And we stayed there the whole damn night until closing. And then the next night we did it again. We just had so much fun just playing all the random games, right? And we had driven to Las Vegas. So on the drive home, my buddy and I were talking about like, man, we should get some pinball machines for the shop. For FreeGoldWatch, we have all this space. Like, just why not? And then on our drive home, we see a sign, literal sign, a billboard in Oakland for the Pinball Expo, which was happening in San Rafael, which is a big show out here. They don't do it anymore. But we're like, is pinball a thing? Like, what the, this is crazy. We're seeing billboards in Oakland for pinball. And, and that's kind of the short of it. So I cold called this operator called Pinball Pirate, Chris Kuntz. You guys may have heard of him or know him. He's been in the game a long time. And I told him about my location, and he said, I was just looking for a single machine. And this is a funny story. I rarely tell this one. I was so naive. He goes, I said, well, I was at the Pinball Hall of Fame, and I was playing games there. And I was like, I played, I was really hoping like we could get, because he asked me, what games do you want? And I said, well, a Twilight Zone would be really cool. I love that. I had a great time playing that one. And I also said, but I also had a good time playing Pinball Circus. Do you have that? He goes, are you fucking crazy? Look, there's only 2 of those in the world. You're so lucky to even play one of them.
I don't even know where the other one is.
So naive. Anywho, I mean, that's kind of the short of it. And he ended up bringing us 4 games, and about maybe 6 months later, and he just operated those games, and it took a while, but that's how it started.
What were the 4 games?
3-card poker, Hooters Hotel, Leica R6, Pinball Hall of Fame. The 4 games were Terminator 2, Whitewater, Jurassic Park, Data East, and the one I played the most because it was only 50 cents. He did not give me a key, Whirlwind, which
good lineup
it was a good lineup.
Yeah. It's great.
And slowly but surely, and this was way before obviously pinball maps or anything, but slowly but surely there was pinball heads that started coming around and playing. Andre Massenkoff, big player in the circuit. But just a bunch of people just started coming around playing, and word spread that there was pinball there. And from 4 led to 5, led to 6, led to 10, led to 20, 40. I think we're up to 60, and I got a bunch in my house. You know how you guys all know.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, we do.
anyways, that's the short of that.
I love hearing the origin story of FreeGoldWatch because there's certain arcades in the country that just have that cool factor that people in the hobby know about. And it's like Electric Bat, Wormhole, Pastimes, and FreeGoldWatch is definitely on that list. I always think that is just a cool place in San Francisco. I always hear about it. I always see people talking about it. I haven't been yet. I would love to go. And
where's the wristwatches? I always come for the wristwatches.
The wristwatches. So we still get calls about that. People will ask us, like, what brand is it? You know, like, So the name FreeGoldWatch, and I'll make this one short too, is from the brand of clothing. So on every, God, I wish I had a sample in here to show you, but on every shirt that we printed, we had these long hang tags in the back of the shirt that had a watch printed on them. So if you bought the shirt, you could cut it out, and then you could wear it around your wrist. And hence, that was where the name came from.
I was wondering that too, because I actually collect wristwatches. I have for most of my life. And it's always been something I've been very passionate about. And I was wondering if there's actually a watch component of some sort at any time, like where you sold watches.
Just with that, well, and then the hoodies. Anytime, and we still do it for all the hoodies. So if you open up a hoodie, on the inside, there's all the watches, kind of like old school Harley.
That's cool.
That's great.
So every one of our hoodies still to this day actually has that. And I might actually, you know what? Do I have to? Here? Okay, here we go. Actually, I do have a sample here.
Oh, that's cool.
The watches on the inside of the hoodie.
Are those available online?
No, we don't do any online sales because it's a nightmare. So everything's in store.
Hey, Matt, I got one suggestion for you, Matt.
Sure.
And that is there's a lot of guys that sell custom made watches on the internet and really cheap too.
Yeah.
I would suggest that you guys just carry a line of watches just with, either a face of a pinball on there or I'm a pinball geek or just something. And then that way it'll finally, after 30 years, finally connect the name.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Maybe we can even like stick them in the claw machine or some or other. Because we don't just have pinball here. We have a bunch of shit. So it's all kind of random items.
All right, Matt, now you're splitting the consulting fee with Rob.
Really?
So Rob, you're pretty busy with Expo coming up, I am sure, but let's discuss Pastimes Arcade first, if that's okay. When did you guys open?
So about a year and a half ago, but it goes back further than that. So, being a diehard collector and enthusiast of pinball, they do these coupon books that they put in the mail, and it's for specials on pizza or getting windows at half price and all these crazy things they do. So I thought to myself, there's so many people that get these envelopes. I said, I'm going to put in there, wanted to buy pinball machines. So I started getting all kind of phone calls and ads from that in a good way. And that helped build up the collection to what it is today. I've done it for years, and I've got hundreds of games that way just by advertising on these coupon books. And that kind of started all of it. And then I realized there was this one grocery store that I used to drive by every day, and it'd been closed for years. And I said, geez, I wonder what if I could buy that cheap enough to make it worthwhile. So it was about a 30,000 square foot grocery store, and I think I got like $100,000 or something. The price was right.
Wow.
Well, little did I know the roof was an issue. Oops. So anyone that knows anything about buildings, roofs are expensive. And but anyways, we put the roof on there. I told my wife, I said, hey, it'd be kind of cool to have a place where I can put my collection, just play pinball. So I'm envisioning driving there one day and open up the door to myself, and I'll play pinball for an hour or something. She says, oh, you're so goofy. She says, if you're going to do this, make it a museum so the whole world can enjoy it. So that's how it started. And, right now we're over 600 games, and that's between pinball and video. And because of that, the selection is from all over the world, which is crazy. I mean, I've got pinball machines here from Japan. I've got the games from Spain, from Italy, titles you never hear about. Yeah. I've got like Kubert's Quest pinball, which you don't see every day. Asteroid Annie, which is kind of on the rare side. But I have a bunch of games that a lot of them I'm bringing to Expo this year. As a matter of fact, the last count, I'm bringing 150 games to Expo. 150, guys. So it's going to take two semis and four 24-foot trucks to bring everything down there. But to celebrate the 40th anniversary, which is pretty crazy, even for me to even think that the show, one guy, because there's so many shows, like you mentioned about the show out there in California that kind of disbanded, but there's so many shows out there, but how many shows are still from the original founder? Mm-hmm. Even the Texas show, I think they have a new guys that are running it now. So to have the one guy do the same show for 40 years, it's what we call here in Ohio passion. So you got to have the passion, the love. It's beyond love; it's passion that would make you do that so many years in a row and still keep going. It's been an interesting ride, to say the least.
Rob, you mentioned your pinball machines from all around the world. As an Italian myself, I'm curious about your Italian pinball collection. Can you share with us some of the highlights from that collection and why you enjoy those machines?
Well, I met a guy through the internet. I don't know why he took a liking to me. His name is Mark. He'll be at Expo this year. But I said, hey, can you help me find some European titles? So he found me more than anybody. But we had titles. I'm getting a phone call from Roger Sharp as we talk.
He's name dropping.
But we got titles.
Amazing.
Titles I never heard of before.
No big deal.
So to go back a little bit, I got an email from a guy from Spain that was coming to Expo. And I said, we're going to be coming to Spain. How far are you from Barcelona? Well, I live quite close to that. I said, why don't you come visit me? Now, I don't know anybody in Spain, any pinball guys anywhere in the world, except for a couple in Japan. So I said, hey, it'd be kind of cool to meet you. But the guy spoke English great. And he says, I want you to meet a friend of mine who's got a great collection. So we go to his place. It was kind of like an underground in the basement of a building. And the machines were lined up. And one machine after the other. I never heard of these titles. What? I can't believe what I'm seeing. This title, that title, this manufacturer. So I'm going bonkers. So it took me that trip for me to get hooked on the European and the Japanese or the Italian and Spanish title games. And to the point where it became an obsession because, you can find, sorry guys, Twilight Zone, Addams Family, you see them everywhere. But to see these goofy titles, and I'm not saying the games are the greatest playing, but to see all these titles is like, cool, this is so cool. I started buying them. But I didn't buy onesie Tuesdays. I bought containers. So there's 40 games in a container. 40 here, 40 there. So it started adding up. Then the problem is how to get these games working. Is Matt going to come from California and drive down and fix my games from Italy and Spain? No. So I hired a guy, Ron Kuhn, who used to work for Dr. Scott. He's out of Toledo, Ohio. And they closed their place down, so he was available. And he has a knack of, I don't know how he does it, man. He figures these goofy games out. They're all written in Italian or Spanish, the schematics. But he's been able to figure them out and get these games working. And to me, it's the highlight. Like we call it the international row. But it's all these oddball titles. And I can't get enough of them because each one is crazier than the next. So it's been really a fun ride. And, I got that Sega game from my friends in Japan. It's called Surfing. I never saw these games. So that'll be at Expo. And there'll be a lot of European games there. Plus, one thing I want to mention just because we're talking about pinballs, but this year, you've heard of the homebrew games, guys. Mm-hmm. I assume the Houston show will have, I don't know, half a dozen or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you guys are having how many?
Listen to this. I don't know. A good thing you're all sitting down. Okay, as the last count, we got 36 homebrews coming.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. So, I think because we're celebrating the 40th year, everyone's lost their mind, and they're helping us celebrate, a monumental occasion for any show. And, by the way, we were the first pinball, show out there back in '85. So, the idea about it was just to recognize my heroes who were the designers and the artists, because I figured all the top management were the guys who were getting all the accolades, but they did nothing. They just collected checks from from the distributors. It was the guys behind the design that created games. So and we're talking about Norm Clark, Steve Kordak, Wayne Nyens, and Harvey Heist at the time. And Harvey Heist at the time was 85 years old, but he designed for a company called Genco, if you guys have heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the Pinball Expo, and I had these guys come up front, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, these 4 gentlemen are responsible for designing over 600 games. Well, everyone stood up and applauded. These guys had tears in their eyes. I couldn't believe it. Wow. No one had ever recognized them. So we, overnight they became household names. So that's why Pinball Expo to me is very special. The passion just lives on, and we continue to honor these guys. It's all newer guys now. So for the old timers like me, I kind of miss the Dave Christensen's. If you guys have ever met him or know him, he was a character in his own right. And Steve Kirk, he did some of the early Stars and some of the early Stern games.
Yeah,
great games.
But these names are names of the past now, and sooner or later, Pat Lawler and Steve Ritchie, they'll be names of the past. I mean, these guys just won't live forever. So, my other reason for doing the show is just to keep these guys in the light and let people recognize them and honor them. And that's why we have the autograph session. So that's crazy. I mean, last year we had about 50 guys show up. It's just nuts. But for anybody who's into the pinball world, this show brings everyone together. And this year, last count, we had over 300 people that registered from outside the U.S.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Imagine that, guys. The Houston show, whatever, you have the local guys, Texas, New Mexico, California, same guys. Hey, man, look who's here. Jamie's here. Hey, give me a high five. But then these Europeans, it's unbelievable. So what's happening is when you come to Expo, you start talking to these guys, and most of them speak English. And the next thing you know, hey, let's get together for breakfast tomorrow or lunch. The next thing you know, you got a pile of bosom buddies or your pen pals or whatever you want to call it. And your phone is full of networking and contacts from guys all over the world who share one common interest. Ready together, guys. Pinball.
Absolutely.
So that's what makes Expo, really special for me.
I'm so excited to be going. I know Tim's going to be going, and Tim wants to pick your brain on his Italian collection, so I won't take up any more time of that. But I know you guys have talk back and forth, and he's trying to one-up you and all that crap. But
I'm trying to find out what weekends he's not home so I can send a semi down there to his house.
No, that's not. They're guarded. They're guarded. Our collection is guarded.
Hey, by the way, guys, just real quick, but something else this year is, we got the Pinball Brothers coming with their games. And then we got Dutch Pinball, who's bringing Alice of Wonderland.
Yeah, you're bringing 3, right? That's
crazy. Then there's a company in France that I dug up, and they made the company's called HEXA, Hexa Pinball. Their game will be at Expo. It's called Space Hunt.
Yep.
So these are games you never see. Poor Coe, you'll go crazy with seeing tiles you've never seen.
Space Hunt. It's going to be the first one in the States, right?
It could possibly be.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the song. Space Hunt had this great jingle that they put out a while ago that was really catchy.
But I'm kind of Matt, apologize for kind of getting wound up here, but I'm just thinking real quick.
I mean,
this year we came out with our little mascot a couple of years ago called Flippy. Maybe you've seen Flippy in advertisements or whatever.
I have.
Well, this year Flippy's sister's coming, Flippette. Their little kid brother Chip, and then Aunt Tilt is coming along with their uncle Poppy Pop Bumper. So we're going to have plush with all these characters. But what else we've done is we've come up with a comic book, The Adventures of Flippy. So I've had various people throughout the pinball hobby network submit some 3 and 4 page cartoons on Flippy. But the comic book has got a lot of special features. Some I won't tell you about because you got to see it. It's a roar.
Wow.
I don't know. I can keep on going, but I'll give you guys a chance to keep talking.
No, Matt.
I feel like I'm missing out. I got to get my tickets for Expo now. Is it sold out? My God, you guys sold me. I've always kind of wanted to go in the past, but now I'm like, oh my gosh,
Matt, if you show up,
like this is the time. I've never even been to Chicago. This would be the great time to go.
Oh wow!
If you show up, I'll get you into anything since you're part of this group of four, the Four Musketeers.
Hey, I'm going to hold you to that, Rob. You gotta get your lawyer to do
Amazing.
Yeah, you just have no idea the impact of the show unless you're there. There's so much positive energy, people high-fiving, hugging, and it's a unique show because it offered so much. You can't possibly see everything in 1 day, 2 days. I mean, imagine this. We have over 110 speakers.
That's cool.
Imagine this, over 110 vendors. I've lost my mind. But like I said, for the 40th,
and just to go on all this right here, this is something that I never anticipated or had any idea about when we got those 4 games, that the rabbit hole that I was just starting to venture into would be this wonderful. I have met so many of my friends, and places I've traveled and things I've done now have all been connected to pinball. And I gotta say, this group of people have been, it's hard for me to even put it into words, but it's just such a great community. I'm not saying they're all great or whatever and that it's all perfect, but into itself, it is something very, very special. And I'm just happy to be even a smidgen part of it. That's what I say.
Yeah, me too. Well said. It is just an amazing community. I've embraced it wholeheartly. I'm all in. I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me, guys? What's crazy is in this hobby, a lot of defunct parts are possible to get. People are either finding networks that find them, or they're making them on their own.
Yeah.
You got Cliffy out there in the West Coast.
Yeah.
I've tried for 100 years to get the guy to come to Expo. He won't do it. But he made that so cool of a little invention that everyone loved.
Yeah. And
a lot of the parts that we thought would be a problem, somehow people are recreating them, and it's keeping the hobby alive. And, I'm an older guy than you guys. So I'm from the Fred Flintstone era, but we still enjoy playing the EM games. And all I can tell to everyone that's listening to this podcast today, especially for your young guys out there, is the EM games can be fun too. It just you've got to clean the relays and the contacts. But if they're clean like they were back when they first came out, you're going to get action on the EM games that you just won't believe.
And
but
incredible artwork and inventive back glasses and all kinds of great stuff. EMs they don't get enough love.
Something too I'd like to mention about the EMs, which is I really like, is you can actually hear the ball rolling, which is something you don't really get in the modern games. If you're in a room where you're playing the EM and between the chimes or the bells, you can hear the ball rolling on the wood. That's always special. I always like that.
Absolutely. And the coil.
Well, not that, but the bells. Nothing beats, a Gottlieb 10-point bell or a Gottlieb 100-point, that dong. And the guys, as we all know, us old timers, you can tell that Bally replay knocker versus a Williams or a Gottlieb. The Bally had a unique sound to it. But you can't beat that knock. You don't hear that anymore. Why they got rid of that feature? It was the best thing out there, that knocker, whenever you get a replay.
Matt, what makes the bulk of your collection? What makes up the bulk of your guys' collection?
Okay, so just to give a little a little bit about FreeGoldWatch as well.
Yeah, please.
I had no idea. Again, back in 2010, 2011, I really didn't know how most places operate, where you just have a single operator, right? So most locations, bars, etc., they have like one company or somebody that handles all of their coin-op equipment, right? I had no idea about that. So with FreeGoldWatch, I ended up creating more of a communal thing, just kind of per chance. And so with Chris and Pinball Pirate, he had the 4 games. And then I ended up meeting somebody I was doing a print job for, Sean, my buddy Sean Dolcini. He was coming to just pick up he runs a piercing studio, and he was coming to pick up his shirts. And he said, "Wow, you guys are into pinball?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, I just bought the new X-Men Stern 2012. It's coming. It's being shipped to me. Would you guys want to have it here?" And we're like, "Absolutely. Let's that'd be fantastic. And then I met somebody else who was like, I got a space shuttle, you know. And so what happened was I ended up having this space where I have, I think, 12 to 14 different operators now here that have, you know, either they're either earning because they want to be operators, or they don't have room in their houses to have the games anymore, so they'll put some games, you know, at FreeGoldWatch, and it's become this communal thing here. So the bulk of the collection, I try to keep it really balanced. So we have a really, really solid chunk of, like, you know, Williams, you know, WPC 95 games, all the classics. And then we have a lot of the older Stern, not old, we have a few of the older Stern, like, you know, 9-ball. But then we have the older Stern, like 2001 stuff, like, you know, Simpsons Pinball Party, Sharky Shootout, you know, which I kind of have a soft spot for. Lord of the Rings, you know, a lot of the classics. And then, of course, you know, modern Sterns as well. But the thing here at FreeGoldWatch is that games are constantly kind of rotating in and out based on a couple of factors. So I kind of think of myself almost as like a, you know, like a baseball GM, right? Where, like, the pins are the team or the squad here, and, you know, and I'm watching them all, and we're on coin op, so we see how the games are doing by the actual coins in the games. And, you know, a few factors like, you know, is it breaking down a lot, or are people bored of it, or, you know. So there's been some certain titles that have come in that have been brand new that, you know, sort of fizzle out within the first maybe few months that they're there. So they end up, you know, getting the boot, and the operators may not like that, but, you know, as the GM of the team here, you know, I got to keep it moving. So, because there's a lot of pins out there. So yeah, we try to keep a lot of random games. Like we have, you know, Gottlieb's Rack 'em Up. You know, I love those old System 80A, System 80B Gottlieb games. We have Hoops. You just it's all over the place, you know. And I like to keep a balance. I'm not really, you know, I like a lot of the new Sterns, but when I go into a location and all they have is new Sterns, and I get it. As an operator, they're the easiest to operate. They you know, and people love them. But for me, I'm looking for, like, the weird titles and odd stuff, you know, to balance out. I'm just always looking for a good balance, and I try to have that here. So we also made a deal with the Pinball Museum in Alameda, with Michael Sheets, to we have a room dedicated with just EMs. So we have a rare Bristol Hills in there, which is the Adaball version of Snow Derby, which is a rarity. Rob, not for sale, unless we can make a deal on something else. We'll have to talk later. But we got that in there. We got Joker Poker, not the EM, actually. That's actually the solid state, but it's actually leaving tomorrow. So anyway, God, I'm blanking on the other game. We have Crisscross Pop-Up, which is not technically pinball. It's like that weird kind of game. But we just try to have a really big random collection of all the eras sort of represented equally. If I could, that'd be my short answer there for the last 5 minutes.
Are there any machines that, as with your experience as an operator, that you would recommend to aspiring operators that they should definitely have on the floor, whether it's arcade or redemption or pinball?
Yeah, for sure. There's like the classics. I mean, if you can get your hands on, like, you know, the Williams, Indiana Jones, I mean, it's a hard game to operate, but it does it if it's working, it's very special to have. It's really good. Medieval Madness is obviously great. Attack from Mars, obviously great. Got to have it.
Theater of Magic.
The Theater of Magic is good. I like Theater. It's kind of up and down. That one can be a little tricky to operate. The trunk can be kind of quirky. We've had it here for a while. We just actually took it out and put it at a bar because it's a good game. We want people to. We moved it to a bar down the street just to kind of get people to go there. But Theater is a great game. Fishtails is another one that kind of would, you can think would do as good as it does, but it just does. I don't know. People just, the sounds, there's a simplicity about the game that's really fun. Cyclone as well. We have Cyclone in the very front of the shop, and it's right at the door of our garage door roll up, and that's the only game we leave the attract mode on. So you can hear it shouting at people on the street. It's like, hey, you with the face, you know, and step right up. Like, it's like, we use it as an actual barker on the street there. So that's, you know, kind of funny. But, you know, there's a handful of brand new Sterns that are, you know, Godzilla is great. You know, that's just absolutely fantastic as far as operating. People love it. I think it's a great game. But you know, I just always think just kind of watching and seeing what people play, and then as the coin starts to drop, you know, it might fall off the team, and here comes another game. You know,
Do your pinball machines earn more than your arcade or like claw machines?
it depends. Yes, so yes and no. So when a new game comes in, say Elton John, like boom, right off the bat, that game is like automatic top earner for like, you know, a solid month, 6 weeks, and then it starts to taper off. And then Medieval Madness will, you know, catch back up with it and sort of like so the new games have their peak, but they also go down rather
Makes
quickly.
sense.
But Godzilla didn't though. Godzilla is like one that is solidly just, and we have the premium, we have the pro first, then the premium, which was kind of fun because it gets people excited. Like at first, you know, to get that pro quickly, and then as soon as the premium comes out, to swap it in gets people kind of re-excited for the title. You know, there's certain titles though that are steady and hold their coin drop very well. You know, it also has to do with Stern and their code too. Like, you know, some games come out like, you know, John Wick or like 007 where they come out and like people are excited for them at first, but then like the code's not all the way there and they're kind of waiting for it. So that can sometimes kind of alter how they do. And then once the code gets better, then it'll come back up again. So, you know, yeah.
What about you, Rob? Same question. Any good? Are you coin drop at pastimes, or are you?
Yeah, we're one price, $20, and you play till you drop.
Okay.
But there's one thing we've got that I don't think anyone's got. And again, I got to ask you: is everybody sitting down?
I am.
Ready, Matt? Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We have 15 fully working gun games. They're all
Rob,
EM. All
Rob,
EM.
This is unbelievable that I can't believe I'm actually talking to you here today because, as like I said, my buddy Justin from Pittsburgh was at your location and he sent me a ton of photos. But today he showed me this photo of a gun game. It blew my mind, and you got to sell it to me. I need it, Rob. I'm going to come out to Chicago. I'm going to meet you there. I'm going to
Which one?
And I'm driving it back to San Francisco. And I'm going to cut you in half the coin drop. You're going to be the latest. You're going to be the newest operator of FreeGoldWatch here, Rob. I don't know the title, but the gun is actually inside it's actually inside. It shoots actual BBs, and then when you're done shooting, it kicks out the little card that you shot at and shows you how you did. Unbelievable.
Got it.
What is that title called?
Yeah, I don't know. I may sell that game to you. I'll tell you why. Because
you heard it. You guys heard it.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because what we found at our place, anyways, is people would never pull that card out, so they start getting jammed up.
Oh,
okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, I can make a sign.
So for you to be the first in line, you got to be at Expo this year, guys. If he doesn't show, he goes from first to last.
Oh,
wow!
Shit.
So that's the deal.
Booking the flight.
That's the deal.
I'm texting my buddy Manu. I think Rob. I think you have a meeting with Manu tomorrow from
Actually,
Ministry
we had
Pinball
today.
Theater.
Earlier today we had it.
Oh, okay. Early today. Okay, so anyway, I'm texting him right now if he's going to Expo, and I'm going to figure this all out.
He's coming.
This is fantastic.
Love it.
This is great.
He's going to be there, but you have to come. You have to come. I'm not going to give it to him. Only you. Only sell to you.
Rob, is it a coincidence that your favorite electromechanical pinball machine is Host Time and the name of your arcade is Pastime?
Interesting. No connection there, but let me tell you, the first game I ever had was made by United called Babyface.
Okay.
So that was I think 1947 or 48, and that game was sitting in the basement of my parents' home when I was, a very young guy, and I didn't know what it was. I mean, it was something, a toy. I don't know what it was, but that thing was down there for years. It never broke. It just was there constantly, and not that I played it every day. But it was a very popular piece in the basement. And when I got to be about 16, I told my dad, boy, these pinballs are fun. Can we get another one? So the next one he got was a Gottlieb game that very few people hear about called Texan. And I had a friend of mine that works for me, and he said, Rob, I said, I'll bring this game back to life. He claims he spent 80 hours on it. He rebuilt every single component. But the game plays, I'm not saying as fast as Solid State, but the thumper bumpers work like it was yesterday. And that game is so much fun. People that come to my home, I got about 60 games in the basement. People that come to my home gravitate to that game in the beginning and at the end. Say, man, this game is fun. And it's an EM game. But to answer your question, I played Post Time, and I fell in love with the Post Time and Smarty, which is the Add-A-Ball Ding Dong. And, you know, when those games are in great shape, they play well, they're fun, and they grab you because they're just this close from getting a free ball or free game, and then something happens. So they're really fun. Just like my son loves the Gottlieb 2001, you know, the one with 15 drop targets or whatever it is. So, you know, the EM games can be a lot of fun. And some of the guys that design those games are still around. John Burris will be at Expo, and he designed some of the Gottlieb games, so he'll be there as well. But we'll see if Matt shows. If Matt doesn't show, I will post on the Expo website because of Matt Henri not coming to Expo. This will be the last year we are doing Pinball Expo.
Oh,
yes,
no.
Whoa, the pressure.
Matthew Henri,
That's a lot of
Henry.
pressure. That's a decent amount of pressure, Rob. That's a lot of pressure. You know, I'm on the phone. I'm over here texting with Manu furiously about like, okay, but like, when, you know, when are you going? When's your flights? I'm trying to hop on this. I gotta, you know, I'm always bogged down with this print shop world and all this other stuff. And you know, and I'm gonna see if I can figure some things out. Manu's saying he's rooming with a buddy. He's letting me stay with him for free. I don't like that. I'm hoping that I would be able to stay with him.
You know, guys, let me say one thing. If anyone like Matt gets inspired by hearing me talk, let me say this. We're all a creature of habits. All of us says, you know, maybe next year. The wife says, can you buy this for me? Maybe later on. Maybe this, maybe that. But once you set your mind, says, you know what? This is the year I'm going to do it. Doggone it. And all I can say is, if you're going to pick that 1 year, this is the year because it's the 40th.
40th,
and I'm telling you, there is
4-0.
so much happening this year. I can't even put into words what you're going to find there.
And you're teaming with the video game. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
So I'm following him. Todd Friedman did a show in the Chicagoland area called Video Game Summit. And my son is a Nintendo fanatic, GameCube, for those that ever played GameCube.
Yeah.
And he loves this stuff so much that I figured maybe this is the time to combine the shows. So that's it's a mixture of everything. And, you know, anymore, a lot of these shows, the Houston show, all these guys are bringing these retro things in. And I'm not saying we're all lovers of it, but it seems like there's a lot of people that are. And you know what happens is the retro guys is a younger crowd, let's face it. So the younger crowd comes and then they get introduced to pinball. The next thing you know, they want to go visit Matt down at the stopwatch. So, you know, it's all full circle, and that's what makes all these hobbies fun. And, you know, we're going to do something else. And, you know, if Matt comes, I'm sure he would consider doing it. And we're going to do a cosplay one on Saturday night. So maybe Matt can dress up as, you know, Zelda or something, and you might win. But something else we're doing is that we're bringing entertainment in for the first time. I have a local Chicago band that's coming at 8:30, and they're going to play the top 40 hits. But after, you know, the 4 or 5 days of loving we're having there, and it's the last chance for everybody to say their final goodbyes and their final hugs with their friends that they met, and, you know, they'll dance the night away and drink pin beer and all that good stuff. So Stern is really gone out of their way to have a fantastic booth. They're bringing their one booth alone, and I'm glad that you have your mouthpiece off, because when you hear this, you're going to scream. Stern alone is bringing 60 games in their booth. 6-0.
Wow.
You just can't comprehend it.
Wow.
So between them and Jersey Jack, they're bringing a load of games. And Spooky will be there, and American Pinball, and Chicago Gaming. But, you know, what makes the expo special is not only are these guys local, but they bring all their designers and artists to the show. So anyone who's, a Stern lover, or likes any certain designer or artist, or anyone for the matter, Mark Ritchie, who did the Pulp Fiction, this is your chance to meet Mark Ritchie. This is your chance to meet Steve Ritchie. This is your chance to meet Jack Danger. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And that's why you really, anyone that's listening for the first time, and they're even hedging on it, this is the year where you tell the missus or your friends or your mother, Mom, I'm packing my bags now. Darling, what did I say? What did I do to you? No, it's not that. I'll be back, but I'm leaving for Chicago. And I might be a couple of days late. But I think everyone who comes there will be they will be on top of the world in happiness and joy, and just seeing friends, seeing people, seeing these zillions of different kind of pinball machines, seeing 36 home brews, meeting Emoto, the firecracker girl.
She's the best.
Emoto will be there. And then we're bringing Captain Chris Campbell's coming down from Captain's Auction Service.
Oh, yeah.
So he's coming down. We're going to try an auction this year, guys. And in the auction, and I'm glad Jamie is there. Jamie's the ringleader tonight, so he can tell everybody to be calm, guys, be calm. But I hooked up with a guy from Australia, and he's bringing a game made by Hankin called The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who may have heard of it or seen it, it's a game you don't see too often, but the story gets better. They're going to bring one and sell one at the auction. Hankin's game, The Empire Strikes Back. So anyone who's looking for that game or wants to buy it, you can buy it through the internet, or you can come to the show on purpose.
Awesome.
You never know, Coe. You never know what it'll go for, but
That's true.
every game at the auction will sell for whatever it is. There's no reserve. And Matt, I don't see you calling the airlines yet, which is a little disappointing.
I got to talk to my travel agent. She won't pick up. I don't know what's going on.
Rob, I'm sad I'm missing it this year. I'm knee deep in remodeling my arcade. I'm opening soon. I'm remodeling the building. It's a 114-year-old building that I'm remodeling.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like,
Coe,
I'm at the finish line.
Coe,
I just
Nice.
listen carefully. Watch me carefully. There's always 2 days or 3 days. You'll never miss it.
I've got a lot of friends that are going. I would love to go.
If you come,
I'm
you're
going.
gonna
Are
scream.
you, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm going. We've got the Houston Arcade Expo this week, and then I took off the entire week next week to make sure I go and say hello to Rob and do the whole thing.
You guys come. I'll make sure you get double extra special VIP souvenirs. And Matt, I have in mind one price for this game. Okay, I'm not going to share it with you yet, but if Coe comes, I'll cut that price in half.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
Can I get on the sold out tours?
What's that?
Can I get on the sold out tours?
YES. You just see me. If I know you guys are coming, I'll make sure we take care of you.
Okay,
That's awesome.
I'll try.
This is
Matt,
fantastic.
Just make it happen, guys. I'm just telling you. This is the year.
What days of the actual show? It's the 17th. It starts the 17th.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday the tours, and then Wednesday night for those that buy the full package, they get the free admission to the Interium, which is like a Dave and Buster's kind of a place. So they're going to have enough food there for you to explode, and then they're going to have they'll give you one of these cards, so you swipe the card and you can play all the games on the floor. They got a bowling machine there. But what's cool is it's the first night for everybody to connect, including the international guys. So anyone that's been to the show and been there, it's like a love-in. The very first year I did Pinball Expo in '85, there was a guy that wrote a book named Dick Bluchel, if you remember that name, and the pinball author. But when he came to the first expo, it's the one and only time. Who is the collector from Rancho something, California?
Oh, the Silver Ball. Is it the Silver
Yeah,
Ball?
what's his name? Silver Ball Ranch. What's his name?
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, he came to Pinball Expo '85, and he took a train there because he doesn't drive a car. Rich Conger.
Yeah.
And he came to the '85 Expo, and it was kind of cool. But I guess the point being, certain things in life you got to go for, and this is it. This is the thing, Uncle Coe. I hate to tell you, buddy, Tell the wife, tell your cousins,
I'm an
relatives,
uncle now.
tell the milkman, hey, milkman, I'm going to be gone. Tell the wife, don't you fool around, but I'll be back. But
Awesome.
you really should make an extra effort because this is the year. Everyone out there in TV land that's listening to me, I'm telling you guys, you'll see Coe, and he'll be smiling and high fiving everybody, and you'll say, "But Coe, I thought you had all this work to do at the house." And he said, "You know what? I did, but it was the best thing. Berk drove me crazy until I said yes. The best thing he ever did. I'm having a field day here. I love you guys."
Rob, you're
And,
selling it good. And you're like the ultimate hype man.
Right. Yeah, this is you know, what more do you need else to hear? Rob got this place sold.
Yeah.
But think about it, Matt. You got the tour of the factories. You got the chance to meet all these superstars. This is going to be Pat Lawler's last show. He's been to Expo every year, but he told me, he said, "Rob, you know, I'm getting up there in age. I'm not feeling the best of health. I'm going to give you one more year, and this could be the 40th." So to even meet Pat Lawler, who's made, as you guys know, a lot of wonderful games, but this is a chance to meet him, get a picture with him, high five him, and shake his hand and say thank you for what you did for the hobby. But This is the year. He will not be back. And
Wow.
it's just another reason to come. Plus, there's all the different manufacturers from Europe. I mean, it's just, I don't know where to start and when to stop, other than the fact that for anyone that's hedging on it, if you come, just come see me at the show and says, "You know what? I'm one of those guys that wasn't going to come until I heard the podcast. I'm here now, and I'll make sure you get a special VIP souvenir for free."
Heard it here. You heard it here first, guys.
You're here to hear.
All right. Last question before we get to our game show called the Hurry Up, guys. And Coe's going to play this time, but talk about the San Francisco pinball community that you've really helped build too. I mean, talk about it. I mean, how strong is that community? How's the tournament scene? All that good stuff.
I've watched it grow right around us. Being at FreeGoldWatch and just kind of catering and creating the space for them. So, starting with the league that we picked up the San Francisco pinball department in the beginning of 2012, I believe that was, and it's grown. So we have about 85 members that meet every other week. And there's like a 50 to 60 person wait list, and to get in, which is kind of a bummer, but we just don't have the space to accommodate more people. So, we're not going to do like a, once a week or split the league or anything. So, people end up filtering in. I would say, again, like the pinball community itself I've met the most, a ton of my greatest friends have been all through the pinball community here. And, we keep it really tight. Everybody looks out for each other. In all the years, I can think of very little drama that's happened with folks. It's, everybody's welcome. It's just a really good, it's so random too. I mean, and one of the things I always like to, people ask me like, what is league really like and stuff. And, one thing I noticed that makes league special or the community special is that, when you have these, 60, 70 people, in any random league night, very rarely do people ever ask, "What do you do?" Like people don't really ask about people's work. It's kind of it's this interesting place to get away from work. And I didn't notice that people don't ask that for a very long time. And then it struck me that it's just something people just don't even bring up. It's a place to go and kind of escape and just, dive head first into pinball and into the fun competition of it, whether you're very serious about it or whether you're just like looking for something random to do on a Wednesday. It brings together what I can't think of a better group of people. Really, that's just how it is.
Well said. I agree with you.
It's weird like that. It's odd because I was in the we used to do art shows here before pinball because we had this big space. So for a while we tried to figure out what to do with the space, and we were doing art shows, and we'd have these movie nights and things like that. But the art shows would bring in some decent art, but nobody would ever buy it, and then the crowds were always kind of stuffy, and it never built, like the community never started. It never kicked in until pinball came around, and that's where an actual community. So now for FreeGoldWatch and the pinball and arcade community, we are so intertwined with this neighborhood that, you know, families and kids have now, we've watched them like grow up in it. And people love it so much because we're all ages too. That's a big deal. And you know, and for kids to be able to kind of to come in, you know, for a kid to barely be able to look over the glass and sit there and and double tap away at Attack from Mars next to somebody who's like this big player, and for that person to interact with them and show them how to play and how to cradle or hold a ball and think about the game a little bit and show them here's a lot. I mean, it's just all so damn special. And you know, creating nostalgia in these kids that, like, you know, my big hope is that one day they're gonna think wherever they might end up living or whatever, and they're gonna think back and like, God, remember that FreeGoldWatch place where we used to play, you know, these games. That's all what I'm really trying to kind of.
And they will.
And they will, and you know,
and they will, and you're doing that. I mean, that's exactly what you're doing.
It's really something cool to watch happen.
Awesome.
from the youngsters to the, you know, old timers coming in, and they're bringing their grandkids in, and they're explaining to them like, this is a pinball machine. You want to let me show you what a pinball machine is. You know, here's Sonny, and you know, and they get in there and they show them, and there's something so classic Americana about it.
Yeah.
It got it all. I don't know what else to say. It's
Awesome.
It's beautiful. I think you perfectly just encapsulated why I'm opening an arcade. And I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Rob, do you guys have league? Do you have a pinball league over in Ohio?
Oh yeah, we do. We have leagues, and you know, it's starting to grow more and more. We also have like a party room so people can have their special events or birthdays or anniversaries and so forth. So, you know, one thing I was going to tell you guys, just Matt made me think about something, but something new we're doing this year also on the show floor is the guy from Colorado, Mark Gibson, if you guys know that name. He has a thing called Fun with Pinball. So what he's done is he's built this display where it shows how a pop bumper works, how a spinner works.
Cool.
So you can walk up to it and touch it and so forth. But he's doing something new this year along with this guy from they call the Goat Shed, Kim Oswald. Have you seen about him in Facebook? Sometimes he's in there, but they're going to have a hands-on workshop. So we're going to have games on the floor there, you know, basket cases, and they're going to kind of show people how to go about, you know, tackling the restoration of these games. So that's something new we're also doing this year, which is kind of cool.
Awesome. All right. Are you guys ready for our rapid fire question game called the Hurry Up?
Yep.
All right. FreeGoldWatch. What is the most played or highest earning machine currently at FreeGoldWatch?
Right now it's actually John Wick. John Wick is holding it down.
All right, Rob Berk, in 30 seconds or less, or a minute, please elaborate on your extensive firecracker collection.
I love it. Well, there's an expression those firecracker guys use. Once you smell the smoke, you're never again free.
Wow.
So, you know, growing up in Ohio where fireworks were illegal, free games, by the way, were illegal. You know, there are certain things that you did as a kid. So back then it was playing marbles, collecting baseball or football cards, playing war with dirt bombs, which was basically clumps of dirt you throw, and then when it landed on the ground, it exploded in pieces. And then occasionally you would get people that would have fireworks they'd bring back from the Carolinas where they were illegal.
Yeah.
So then we live not too far from Canada. So, you know, Canada's a big fishing area. So my dad would take us fishing. And as a young kid, I didn't care either way. But what was interesting is we would stop to Niagara Falls, and there on the sign was fireworks. So, you know, any guy likes noise, bang. I mean, guns, whatever. Explosions, you know, you can't get a lot of the explosions. That was cool, man. Wasn't that cool? And so I got introduced to firecrackers in a bad way because I got hooked on them. But what I got hooked on even worse was the labels on them. So in Canada, every year we go to Canada fishing, I couldn't wait to stop in the firecracker shop, and get some packs of firecrackers. So Jamie, the fact that you even knew about me, you get an extra bonus souvenir. So you come see me at the expo, and we'll get you one free shirt for that, because that's only a very special person would know that. But as crazy as my collection is with the pinball machines, I'm one of the biggest collectors of firecracker packs
Wow.
in the hobby.
Oh,
And a lot of
that's
my
so cool.
premier packs of firecrackers came out of California, because they were legal up to the, I don't know, mid 40s or whatever. Now California, I mean, you don't dare sneeze, they'll put you in jail. But
Yeah.
and a lot of the early firecracker packs I have, and these firecracker packs go for sometimes $300, $400, $500 for a single pack of firecrackers.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea, it's a crazy hobby, but
Well,
that's
awesome.
one thing.
I had to pick your brain on the fire.
I love it. How did you even know about that?
You know, I'm just a very good interviewer, Rob Berk.
You're
That's
the
just what I
greatest.
do. All right,
You're
Coe.
every woman's dream, every man's nightmare is what you are.
Thank you.
Somebody
Coe, would
clip
you?
that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know we're gonna clip that. I
Yeah,
mean, that's no brainer.
that's going on social media.
That's going on socials. Done deal. We'll put that on TikTok. Would you, Coe, would you ever consider setting up some of your rare consoles in the arcade?
You know, people keep requesting that. And initially I was thinking no, because it just, I'm thinking like recreating that just pure arcade experience. But lately I've actually been reconsidering it. I'm considering creating a retro lounge with a CRT television, shag rugs, and comfortable seats, and like roping it off with some velvet ropes and just charging by the hour to like hang out in the lounge and play whatever console, an actual carts, actual consoles, an actual CRT, and have the whole kind of authentic old school experience.
Oh, you can buy all you want at Pinball Expo. There'll be all those retro guys there.
Rob, I may have a game or two floating around the house already. I don't know if I need to be spending money on that.
He's got some collection over there.
I have
All right,
a small collection.
Matt, give me your Holy Grail pinball title to own.
Oh man, to own. Oh my goodness. You know what? I need to check my list here. Let me see. To own, gosh.
Or to have at FreeWatch. I'll give you
if I could own, I'd like to own a Rocky. Rocky would be a Rocky, a Tron LE. I would like to own a Starjet. I'd like to own a Starjet, which is an older old Bally, which is one of the earliest multi-balls. Robbie might know that one. Robbie probably have two of them.
I got it.
There's a Sagasa. Okay, really, this is a real deep one. There's a Sagasa game called Joker's Wild, and it's on Pinside, and it has little slot machine reels in it, and it looks fun because all those old. I'm sorry, Sonic. It's a Sonic game, not Sagasa. It's a Sonic game.
Okay.
Called Joker's Wild, and I just can't find any other information about it. Rob probably has all of them, but
Joker's
yeah,
Wild's
that one's up there. Those
rare.
are those are some of my Grail pins to own. Yeah, those are them.
All right, Rob, same question. Is there any pin out there that you don't already own that you want?
So that's the part that I don't already own. I wish you didn't have to include that little propositional phrase.
You gotta do it. I mean, you have 600 machines.
Oh my gosh. I have a pretty complete collection of the early Stern, but the one I'm missing, it was I think a black belt. It was some karate themed Stern piece. I'm not saying it's a great game, but it's missing from the collection.
You would have to come to Wormhole and play that one.
I was just gonna say,
because we have that one. But
Wow.
What's the name of that game?
Well, there's a black belt.
But there was a Bally black belt, but this was made by Stern. It was
the Dragon Fist.
There
Dragon
you
Fist.
go.
Dragon Fist.
We don't have a
that-
Dragon Fist.
Lynn's Arcade in Seaside has themselves a Dragon Fist.
do they?
Yeah, they do.
That's actually a
game.
fun. Actually, like you said, it's not a fun game. It actually is kind of a fun game. That game has a spinner counter on it. There's actually a display in the back box that counts your spins. They need to bring that.
I'll
back.
trade that for the gun game.
Wow.
Well, that's Lynn's Arcade, so you're gonna have to get involved with.
Now I can start working different parties together.
Yeah, I can hook you up with Lynn's. I love those dudes.
We just had them on the show.
We just had them on Arcades Across
Carrie,
America.
Michael, Uncle Philly, big shout out. Those guys are unbelievable, man. Carrie for mayor of Seaside. My vote.
Oh, he's a great dude. We enjoyed that. That's Shameful Plug, #1, Arcades Across America, Part 2. Lynn's Arcade. All right, Coe, give me a pin you wish you had in your collection.
Well, my collections aren't quite as robust as everyone here. So there's still a lot of machines on my wish list. I'm a massive Elvira fan. I would love to have either of the 3 Elvira machines, but I think Scared Stiff would be the one that I would probably want the most.
Okay. Coe, I've discussed my love for the pinball arcade game called Popeye to you. I've discussed this with you. When I come visit, will you have a Popeye?
Jamie, knowing your love for Popeye, the arcade game, I am motivated to try and find one. But, it's not like going to Walmart.
No, I know.
Plucking it off the shelf. But I'll tell you what, if I see a Popeye locally, I'll snag it.
Or would you just take me there? Or we'll just go to their house. Because Matt and Rob, question for you. Thumbs up or thumbs down for Popeye? Why do I love this game so much?
I'll give you double thumbs up for Popeye. And you know what? Not only is the game actually really, really fun, the art pack, there's no game, in my opinion, that has a more complete art package from when you look at the sides of the cabinet on both sides because it creates the ship. And then if you look at it from the front, it's like looking at the ship. And then, it like the whole thing creates one big ship. I'm not sure if people really realize that. I mean, it's unbelievable it's just great. And it's Popeye. I mean, come on. I mean, I love the lightning flippers. I like the little elevator, the maze. I don't know why a game gets such a bad rap. I don't know. Maybe because they called it like Popeye Saves the Earth or whatever it is. But
you're talking about the pinball machine.
I was just going to say, are we talking about the arcade game?
I'm talking about the arcade game.
Oh, that game's awful.
No!
I'm talking pinball.
I'm talking about the arcade game. Where
everyone's like, no.
Thumbs down.
All right, Rob. Arcade pinball. I mean, excuse me, Popeye the arcade game. Yes or no?
I've never really played the game. I have several of the Nintendo games, but that's Nintendo, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It is.
I actually think it's underrated, to be fair.
Hey,
I
will say
agree with you, Jamie.
Which one of you guys is the biggest arcade nerd here of all you guys?
I'm not.
Me and Coe, I think, are
little bit
tied for
because I just picked up a game. It'll be delivered next week. Hold on, let me, because I want to give you the correct title here. Hold on 1 second.
All right, and then that was it for the hurry up. So sorry about that. See, the hurry up doesn't go as hurry as I want it to go.
I know. Yeah.
Well, especially when you're way off subject. I'm like in a complete other world.
It's okay. I have my own theme music for it now. And all these great things. And it's a very good game show host, man.
Maybe I have a stream deck here. I can just start pushing buttons to hurry people along.
All right, guys, you ready?
It's fine. Yeah.
Coe, you ready?
Ready.
A Williams game called Inferno. Arcade game.
No.
And another
70s,
one,
late 70s?
It was right near the very end. And another one called Sega Monster Bash.
Are these new ones for the pastimes?
I just purchased them, but they're supposedly very rare games.
Yep. They must be, because I'm not familiar.
I don't know them at all.
Yeah.
That's some of the special sauce of pastimes, is you guys have all those rare things. People ask me, not a day goes by where people don't ask me a good arcade to go to. And I always send them to, like I say, pastimes is like legendary. In a short period of time, you guys have done so much to like plant your flag as destination arcade.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Another game we got, which is kind of an oddball game. I think it's called Spot. It looks like a spin-off on 7-Up. One of the characters 7-Up. You ever hear of it, Coe?
Yeah,
yes, I have.
So that's an oddball piece. And then we got Cuphead.
Oh yeah, Cuphead.
Yeah.
That's just fun graphics. It's like watching a cartoon. But what's happening?
You guys ever run across a Konami Badlands Laserdisc?
That's
that title.
Oh yeah.
That's what that's a grail for me too.
That's a good grail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tough
I've
with that
never
laser
seen
disc.
one out in the wild, but I know the game.
Yeah, damn. They had one when I was growing up. They had one at the movie theater in the small town Merced, California, that I would go to, and it took me a long time to actually hunt back, and I just had these scenes in my head, and it just like I couldn't figure out what game that was, and then I finally figured it out, and I've played MAME versions of it now, but man, I would love to own that cabinet again.
Yeah.
If you got a couple of those hanging around, let me know.
All right. Well,
You
If I
guys
see
ever
one,
hear-
I'll call you or message you.
You ever hear of a game called Main Event? I just picked it up today. Konami Main Event. It's a wrestling kind of a thing,
oh yeah, I know Main Event. I put some quarters
Is it
in the Main Event.
Any good game? Do you know anything about it?
No, I just know, I put a lot of quarters in it because I was addicted to wrestling. So there
I
you
think
go.
wrestling games are always a good pickup. People love them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know?
All right, guys, thank you so much. This was a great third edition of Arcades Across America. FreeGoldWatch, where can people find you guys?
San Francisco. you can find us we're at freegoldwatch.com. The website, there ain't much there. Pretty much you'll find us 1767 Waller Street, 7 days a week.
There you go. Rob, where can people find not only Pastimes Arcade?
Yeah, we're only
online?
open Thursday through Sunday, but
Okay.
pastimesarcade.com or pastimes.com. But again, guys, everyone out there in TV land,
Oh yeah.
I want you to reach out to me because we want to see if Matt will indeed show up. Because if Matt shows up and Coe shows up, this is what we call the double whammy, and it's like hitting the jackpot. So everyone here, as far as us four guys, including Jamie, they will all score big time.
Wow.
Let's do this.
No
All right,
Matt,
all
no
All right.
Coe.
I'm on the mission. I'm on the mission, Rob. I'm on the mission.
I feel
You'll
good about
thank me.
that.
I'll
I'm a little
just
worried
Travel
about
agent.
Coe.
I'm talking to the travel agent tonight. I got a good
You know
buddy of mine that actually I got to run because we're having our team
Yeah.
pinball competition, and the guy, I got a buddy there that he really wants to go too, so I'm going to line it up with him, and we're going to make this all happen.
Jamie,
Gentlemen,
thank
love
you
it.
for having me
Thank you
on
so
board
much.
with you guys. All you guys are great guys. All
Yep.
the best to all you guys.
Appreciate
Thank you,
y'all.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Nice to see you,
Thank you
Coe.
so
Nice
much.
to meet you, Jamie. I hope to see you guys and meet you guys sooner than later.
Can't wait.
See you guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
So how fun was that?
Amazing. Talk
Wasn't
about
it great?
great guests.
That was great. For episode 3, they just, I mean, we're outdoing
Yeah.
ourselves here. It's just with, episode 2 with Lynn's and of course Electric Bat and a Moto on episode 1. So we're
It's-
on our way. And now apparently you're going to Chicago.
Apparently.
And one of the cool things about that is we'll definitely meet so many people and book even further guests, right? And we have
that's true.
so many. But we also have so many people that we've been reaching out to that want to be on. So
People have
you know-
been reaching out left and right that they want to be on the show. They love what we're doing here on Arcades Across America, and that's always great to hear. So lots of content coming, that's for sure.
oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so excited. My co-host, this is great. Where can people find you? Of course.
Quarter Drop Arcade on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and quarterdroparcade.com.
We are on all the socials, Wormhole Pinball. And you could always email us at wormholepinball@gmail.com or wormholepinball.com. All right.
You guys are killing it on social media lately.
Yeah. We have someone that's helping us, Aaron, from the Learning to Flip series.
Mhm.
And Aaron, Eric Winnick Anthony. And she's just fantastic. And she's really showed us how to hit that algorithm that you know so well, Coe.
I can see the evolution, and it's incredible. The content is like so good, very fun to watch.
We have so many great things coming down the pipe here at Wormhole and at Quarter Drop, and that's why we're also doing this. Is we get this free consultants, and
I've learned so much already.
And I've learned so much. We had so many more questions that we wanted to ask him about
I
insurance,
know, yeah.
about other things that we just couldn't get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So, but that's all right. All right, for Wormhole Pinball and Arcades Across America, I'm Jamie Virtual. Thank you, Coe, so much.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you. And remember our phrase, don't be an a-hole. No reason.
Don't do it.
The community's just too great. We don't need to mess that up. All right. All right. Thanks, Coe. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.